Welcome to Beyond Resume, where careers and analytics come alive. This is where we explore the intersection of innovation and human experience, the stories that shape leaders, and the principles that drive success in our field. I'm Kaushik, an advanced analytics and AI professional with over 20 years in the industry and a decade of leading teams. Today's guest is someone I have known for over a decade. And I can tell you, he's one of the most intellectually gifted and genuinely humorous people that I have worked in this field. If you have seen his LinkedIn posts, you know exactly what I mean. Sharp one-liners, witty observations about data science, and commentary that makes you think and laugh at the same time. Back in 2011, I started a forum to explore emerging techniques like neural networks. At that time, these methods were completely alien to most of us. Almost no documentation, no Stack Overflow answers, just pure experimentation. Suvadip was doing exceptional work with neural networks back then. And he was already saying something that sounded crazy at that time, that this will replace traditional models. And now we all know that he was right. Suvadip is a data science and analytics leader with 17 plus years of proven track record in delivering analytical solutions with high business impact. Currently, he is an associate director and head of global analytics. He is working for a major global bank based out of Bangalore. He has been leading analytics for corporate and institutional banking across all geographies and products. But here's what makes Suvadip's story compelling. He is not just an analytics leader. He's also an author. He has written 2 data science fiction books, Almost Lost You in Random Forest and Bar Charts and Bar Chats. Both satirical takes on the world of data science that somehow managed to be both hilarious and technically insightful. He has been recognized as one of the 40 under 40 data scientists. He has won the Best Data Product of the Year award and has been a chartered data scientist since 2020. 17 years in our organization, not because he was stuck, but because he kept finding new mountains to climb. Retail banking, wealth management, insurance, digital banking, commercial banking. Each one a different challenge, a different domain, a different problem to solve. Suvadip, welcome to Beyond Resume. Really glad to have you here.
Really glad to join, and Archik, thank you for the generous introduction. And to the podcast viewers, I would like to add that over the years, I have known Kaushik to be one of the sharpest mind in the data industry. In fact, he mentioned about the tech forum that he was leading decades back. So that was one of a kind. He's a man full of new ideas, and probably hosting a podcast series is one of the latest among them. He's always open to volunteer, always open to try out new things, pushing himself and the industry forward. And by the way, so this is my first podcast, I have been following your podcasts and I'm aware of many of the leaders and visionaries who appeared in the series. So it definitely feeling some big pressure on me and hope that I can live up to the expectations. Things. Be gentle on negotiate.
Absolutely. First of all, I truly appreciate for all the kind words. And okay, so it's your first podcast. Well, of course, that makes this
Absolutely.
even more special. But no question. Let's make it a good one for the audience. Let's start. Let's go back to the beginning. So, you did your bachelor's in economics from Calcutta University, then your master's from Delhi School of Economics. That's a classic economics path. Many people from Delhi School of Economics go into policy, academia, or maybe consulting. But you went into data science and analytics and you got in early. When this field was just starting to take shape in India, how did that transition happen? Like, what really drew you from economics into the world of data and machine learning?
So nothing specific actually. Like most of the things in my career journey, I have been put into a role first, and only after that, I had to figure out that how to make the best out of it. So towards the last semester of my university days in Delhi School of Economics, we had the placement season where different companies will come to our campus back to back, hold their pre-placement talks, screening, group discussion, interview rounds, and then select the candidates. So I had the interview of this particular organization, which was into banking environment, and that is how I eventually landed in this job. I was happy that during that time that I had secured a job for myself because during that time as a student, all I cared was the salary on offer, the city where I need to relocate to, maybe the job shift timings, and the number of holidays in a year, and those are probably pretty much it. So basically, I did not have much idea about data and analytics, and it was an emerging field then. In economics, we have the subject econometrics, which deals with data. So I had some concept of forecasting. I had some bookish concept of regression, or I was part of a data project during my university coursework. But that was all. The other subjects, statistics, mathematics, which come along with economics, they also proved to be handy later. I also did not have much idea of the world of banking, the banking products, the banking operations, none. My idea of working for a bank was not very much different from those of my relatives at that time who asked me that, okay, which bank branch that I will be working in. And most of them assumed that I will be a bank cashier or a bank clerk. So this was, way back in 2008. And it was only 3-4 years later that, some guy in the Harvard Business Review published an article that data scientist affects his job of the 21st century. And the word spread like wildfire. And then friends and relatives said it recognized that, okay, where I have landed, it is indeed an interesting space. But after joining this field, I had my initial apprehensions. I soon started loving it. I wanted to make the best out of it. So thanks to the wonderful colleagues I met and the great working environment I was put into, it really helped me to learn first, start working on one project after another. So as I said, my entry was back by my academics to a certain extent, and by luck to some more extent maybe. And this is unlike the new batches of hiring which we do from the campus nowadays. The recent batch hires which we do, those people, they are so much sorted, so much knowledgeable about banking and finance. so fluent in multiple programming languages, and they are so tech savvy actually. So in fact, in today's times, I would have definitely rejected and not hired myself from the campus.
Excellent point. A couple of comments really that I was able to resonate. Yes, I do also see the generation that kind of comes on board these days. You use the right term that they are sorted. They know what needs to be done with their life. All credit to them. But at the same time, I believe that we should also give a benefit of doubt to us that information was not easily accessible back then. That was one drawback or challenges that maybe our generations went through. But again, all credit to the new generation for being smarter, well informed, and pretty determined in which direction they wanted to take their career. Not like us, because if I remember, my career was also very similar. I had to start earning, and that's what was the reason why I landed in the first job. The second observation that you mentioned, I again can quickly connect to, and probably this is a coincidence that a similar thought was passing through my mind on the other day, that uh, when we joined that industry, data analytics, uh, no one, as you mentioned, no one knew about it. As you mentioned, that some of your family members thought that you were working in a bank branch. Uh, I kind of, took the courage of explaining what I do to some of my relatives, and they thought that, my work is very similar to the work that's been done in the field of astrology. Like, I predict things. Uh, and second, when the modeling, the data science, the modeling part came, the only modeling that they knew is the modeling that they see on TV, like, or on films. So it has been quite ambiguous among the common folks, like including our relatives. Uh, so I kind of recently posted an article that with Chat GPT coming in, that has saved our face, because that's something which is now probably you will find in everyone's mobile, irrespective of their background. So if you can, put forth your word profile connected with ChatGPT, they will be able to relate it. So after finally 20 years later, now at least my relatives relate, what I'm into. Again, very, very resonating points that you shared. One question that comes into my mind is, uh, of course, you landed in the job, but you started loving it right after getting into the profile. Could you maybe recall and share any moment or any project where it clicked for you? Like, when did you go from apprehensive to, yes, I want to make the best out of this field? Any memories?
Um, yeah. But before that, yes, I am completely in agreement with the 2 points that you made. Uh, so the new generation of campus hires, what I have seen is they are not only like exposed to or aware of a lot of information which we did not have access to during our days, but it is given better for them that they are making the best use of that information. Say for example, there are so many of them had done so much of internship during their maybe summer vacations or during their longer vacations, and then like they are not only doing something which is theoretical or bookish, but rather they are trying to build applications on their own or something which can be actually put to good use. So, yeah, really kudos to them. And about yes, I think now thanks to ChatGPT and other the AI applications, it is more to explain it to our relative the kind of work that we do. AI is something which I think they are very, very familiar, irrespective of age. And of course, like now understand what artificial intelligence is, and AI is not astrological intelligence. But okay, Yes, talking about my journey and talking about my projects, yes, as you mentioned, that, like I have been in the organization, same organization for a really long time, 17 years. In fact, it is a lot higher than the average tenure if we go by the industry standard. By the way, so this June I will be turning 18, which means that I'll be turning into an adult in this organization. But yeah, staying in the same organization, it has its own share of benefits as well. A lot of benefits, actually, if it is a big organization. I have moved roles, teams, geographies, stakeholders, domains, and those give me some immense learning. I started with a role in credit card analytics for the US market. It was about analytics on digital customer acquisition, that too during the US housing bubble burst times. There I picked up SaaS, mainframe, a bit of macroeconomics, then worked for campaign management for the UK market. So did campaign analytics, design of experiments, built propensity models, picked up a lot of product knowledge and knowledge about the retail banking products and the classical machine learning. Then moved to a global role in wealth and insurance analytics. There picked up the cultural nuances when working with the different geographies and different stakeholders who are based out of different countries. Picked up more advanced analytics and stakeholder management skills. Then worked from our Hong Kong office for a year where I built a data product for our front line and actually got to see firsthand that how entire frontline stuffs work. Then moved from retail to the corporate banking analytics, picked up domain knowledge of commercial banking products and processes, established myself as a people manager and later a leader in the field of data science after like 2-3 more changes in role. So yeah, this variation, this diversity, it helped me a lot in become. But staying in the, like staying longer in the same place, you also build a lot of equity in the human capital. So we don't talk about it much, but this is one of the key benefits. Over the years, I have a deep network of colleagues, a great rapport with stakeholders, impactful mentors and mentees, trusted relationships. So trust me, it helps navigate through the system much, much better. The thing that what one might miss out is not changing their workplace is to get an immersive experience of the overall industry, to see what is happening in the overall analytics or data science industry in terms of technology, tools, use cases, inventions. I also felt the same, which, the Gen Z is they call FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. And in order to make it tough for it, I try to consciously take a few steps. I try to follow the new research papers, read the industry news, or attend the industry conferences, roundtables, participate in forums, and try to stay myself updated with the latest development. And back to your one of the part of your question where you said that anything challenging which I took up. I think the last one that I can remember on the top of my head is I had to set up a new team from scratch. It was a new line of analytics application. It was innovative, untested before, or no precedents to refer to. It felt like, building a startup end to end within, of course, the organization umbrella and rising up to the occasions, setting up an entire vertical and work stream from scratch. Scouting for the right talent and hiring, setting up people, setting up the process, balancing the short-term goals and the long-term sustainable aspects, giving the pre-sale speeches, solidifying the book of work, setting up all the controls, that is identifying the risks, defining the guardrails, adhering to the compliance and regulatory guidelines. So yeah, it gave me immersive experience and seeing it work and becoming it or making it a profitable venture by the turn of the year was a sense of achievement that, took the excitement to a completely whole new level.
I totally agreed. And I think again, if I look at my career, I'm also been working with the same organization for 14 years now. And I do get these questions as well, that are you with the same organization because you don't want to get out of your comfort zone? Probably that's what the view of folks who prefer changing jobs maybe in every few years. Again, there is nothing right or wrong into it. I'm not saying that everyone should stay in one org or everyone should keep on changing jobs. I think what's important is that you highlighted that there has been a progressive evolution in your experience and contribution to the firm. It's not like you joined a team and you stayed in that team for 17 years. You moved around within the organization. You leveraged the opportunity to gain that experience, newer experience, by being within the same organization. And I totally agree that's the best path to take. I mean, what's the need of moving from one firm to another if you can get all those experience in the same firm itself? Plus, like again, going back to that available of information, it's not like 20 years back when your vision was limited to what's been done at your organization. There are so many articles, videos. You can connect freely with people working on other organizations to understand that, how they are making things possible, how they are making things differently. So yes, I totally understand that what made you stay in a same organization for 17 years, which will very soon be an 18 years journey for you. And one element that you also highlighted, I think, like the last example that you shared, it actually talks about owning something end to end. So yes, you came from an economics background. Maybe you started with some core analytical work, moved towards machine learning, AI. But the last example that you shared, it's not limited to technique. It's kind of owning sort of the P&L of a particular business, right, or particular segment. So if someone can get such experience or exposure by staying in an organization, I think it would make a ton of sense to stay back. So again, I can totally resonate because my journey has been quite similar to yours. All right.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about something technical now. So let's talk about something that you are working on. Uh, you are kind of leading analytics for corporate and institutional banking. That's fundamentally different from retail banking analytics, right? So in retail, you are looking at individual consumers, their transactions, their behavior, their credit scores. In commercial banking, with my limited knowledge, you are probably looking at business networks, relationships, supply chains. What is a big shift that you see when you compare a retail bank and a commercial bank?
We would say that there are quite a few of them. But to begin with, the commercial banking products, they are different and they are more complex because we as individuals all have more or less ideas about the retail banking products. We all hold current or savings account, or we invest our money in fixed deposits or term deposits or in some other investment products. Many of us, we use credit cards. Any of us, we get personal loan or home loan from time to time. We get our troops covered with our life and medical insurances and so on. But on the other hand, unless somebody has various experience in running a business herself or himself, or there is some, like business in the family, then the concept of commercial banking products, they do not come naturally to us. Because companies, whether they're big or small, they need working capital to operate. If they are into domestic or cross-border trade, then they need a suite of trade-related banking products. They would also require support in managing their liquidity, cash, and credit decline. So definitely, the products are different, slightly complex, slightly not intuitive as the retail banking to grasp. But certainly, the commercial banking is mainly driven by relationship managers, um, or product specialists, or our fund staffs. In commercial banking, the model doesn't usually make the final yes no or decision. I'm talking about the propensity models here. Instead, the analytics it needs to serve as a super assistant to the frontline colleagues who are the relationship manager or other frontline staffs. Um, Another thing is commercial banking is more vulnerable to geopolitical effects, policy changes, and also the data is messy. So you have private companies with limited public data. You have the regulatory layer. We operate in a highly controlled environment, so every innovative model still needs to pass the strict governance. But anyway, um, it is, I would say that still like lot more satisfying because each client, business client, has a story. So when you land a commercial client, you aren't just selling a product, but you are powering a business. So using your advanced analytics, you are probably helping a business to unlock more opportunities or expand it into newer markets, newer geographies, or optimize its supply chain, or help meet its ESG and sustainability commitments, or simply grow its book. So that is a tangible impact that makes this space very exciting right now.
No, very insightful. Just a follow-up question, because I have never got an opportunity to support institutional or commercial business. I have mostly supported retail business, and I'm totally in alignment that retail business is something that is is not a new thing to us, because we are also retail clients. So it's very easy to maybe connect with a client's psyche versus a commercial business. But if for someone like me, after spending 20 years supporting retail, if I need to switch to commercial, is there one particular thing that I should prep myself for, like some domain knowledge, some business knowledge? Because I believe the techniques remains the same. But what kind of domain knowledge that I should focus on, I should prep myself on?
I would say to begin with, maybe browse to any of the financial organizations web page which is operating in this space, and then start browsing through the different commercial banking products and services which they are offering, and you get to see that like who their targeted audience are. So there, in your buying, you will be able to map that, okay, like what are the products, who are the target customers, how the operation works. You'll be able to like relate that, okay, like like our product recommendation engine would work like this, then what can be the commercial banking equivalent of it, and similarly, I think like knowing or understanding the products will be a great starting point, because it will ignite your thoughts, and it will help you to maybe delve deeper to get some more domain knowledge.
Oh, that's helpful. And I'm sure that if any of the listeners are also looking to move track from retail to commercial or expand their track, I believe that this insight or guidance will be strongly helpful. All right, I think enough of technique works. Let's now shift gears and let's discuss something about you as a human, so that the audience can also understand you, how you are as a human being. Uh, you have been recognized with multiple awards like 40 under 40 data scientist, best data product of the year, chartered data scientist. But you have also done something that most analytics leaders don't do. You have written 2 books of data science fiction. Again, I will stress on the term data science fiction because you have not written another book on large language model. But the two books that you have written there, you have kind of clearly taken satirical takes on our field. That's very creative. And that's completely different from building propensity models or optimizing acquisition strategies. Like, what really drove you beyond your technical work to write those books?
Well, this is an interesting question, and will come with a, I would say, funny and satirical answer as well, because I never thought of authoring a book in the first place. I never, uh, I was never into writing. In fact, I'm not even an avid reader of fiction, because, like, that is what we think that, okay, like, at least for a first time writer, the person should be an avid reader and should be reading maybe thousands of fictions. But no, even I was not that as well. But as I told you, that life takes us into different places, and then I enjoy and try to make the best out of it. So this one started with a New Year resolution. Uh, Actually, a few years back, around 5 years back. So had a great New Year Eve party, reached home past midnight. It was well past midnight. And I was in high spirits in every sense of the phrase. But somehow it occurred to me to note down my New Year resolutions. I had no idea that how I got hold of a pen and paper, but I wrote down a few items. Writing a data science fiction novel was one of them. The next morning, just like, any other New Year resolutions, the rest got forgotten. But this one somehow managed to, stay as a seed in my mind, in my head, and then it germinated, and eventually it happened. It gives me immense creative satisfaction. And, like you spoke about um, the awards that I have received, but, like, there are some real incidents that, there is a stranger who walks up to you, a complete stranger, and says that he or she has read my book, and they started speaking about that, how they can relate themselves to one or other character in a novel. So I can't express in words the ecstatic feeling that it gives from within. So, like, leave aside the awards, this is a reward which gets deeply, deeply embedded in the heart. But anyways, I feel that there are hundreds of books on data science and all the technical stuff, and I'm probably not even knowledgeable enough to add a new one to that, like, ever expanding list. But I feel that not much has been written on the life of the data professionals, their dreams, their aspirations, even their love, their frustrations. So I feel that there are a lot of stories in there waiting to be told. So I try to, like, take a fictional take, we develop some stories around them, and then finally, yeah, it was very exciting to hold your own book in your own hand. So that's a proud feeling. And if one book led to another, and maybe should be one more. But okay, in fact, Coach Chait, I'm very happy to take this opportunity to announce and thank you for the very first time on your podcast. The novel will be probably releasing later this year, because it is in the editing stage. And this time it will be a genre which is what I'm most comfortable with, that is, comedy and humor. So it will be a data science comedy.
Love that, and appreciate you sharing that information here. I'm certainly looking forward to it. I'm sure your readers will also look forward to it. Uh, I know that it came as a resolution, but the problem that we were discussing a while back about common folks recognizing our work, our life, looking at us beyond our technical skills. Your books are the sole driver of that purpose. Like whomsoever kind of read that book can understand the human being who generally utters all those difficult technical terms, which most of the times difficult for common folks to understand. But thanks for doing that. I know that that gives you a lot of pride. It should be, as well as a lot of satisfaction of doing beyond your regular work. Again, I'm looking forward to the third book. I'm sure that your readers are also looking forward to have it on their way.
Well, actually, so
Now,
thank you.
sure. Next, we move to some quick questions, right? So it's going to be a lightning round, and knowing you, of course, I expect some intellectually humorous responses, maybe even some of those LinkedIn one-liners. Ready?
Yeah. Let's go for it. But be gentle on me.
All right. The first one is, what's a skill that's not on your resume but has been absolutely critical to your success as a leader?
That I would definitely say, like curiosity, um, or the logical reasoning for that matter, or analytical thinking. Some of those softer sides.
Got it. Curiosity and logical reasoning. I mean, those sound like they would be on every data scientist resume. But you are saying they are not. So why do you think that people are not putting those on your resumes?
I would say that it's difficult to quantify, but like analytical thinking is something which, if it is in somebody's resume, then, or if it could have been quantified, put it in form of a score, it would have been very, very easy to, judge a person by that, because, I think the technical skills or paid, even some of the domain knowledge, they can be picked up eventually based on the requirement of the job. But analytical thinking or logical reasoning is something which, like it's difficult to learn, or there are no such, direct courses which will impart this knowledge. But nevertheless, it is one of the key skills on this field.
Great, great. Next, again, going back to your two books, uh, what's one thing, writing fiction that you have applied in your analytics work as well? Like, what was the commonality?
Commonality was, I think even writing a book, it started the same way that we would start an analytics project, that is, brainstorming and whiteboarding, that is creating maybe the overlying theme, and then, like breaking it down into pieces, where each piece can be considered as a chapter, and then each chapter can be broken down into further different themes and characters, and then giving each of the characters their um, own unique voice, own unique perspective, their own stories, their own motives, and then, letting them interact with each other, and then they will come up with maybe the next few steps in the story. So yeah, it works like how it works with real data science or real analytics projects. And again, just like the great leaders, the work is to have an in eye on moving the story forward and uh, making it having a satisfying, successful ending. So yeah, very successful analytics projects, I would say.
Excellent. I love that answer. Third, you have been with the same organization for 17 years, working across multiple geographies and business lines. But what's one thing that you wish more people understood about building a long, evolving career in one place versus constantly switching companies in every 2 to 3 years?
Well, I would say that as we discussed in the beginning, and I am completely aligned with you on this, that the same principle will apply. That is, if you are not learning enough, or you feel that you are operating in a comfort zone, or you have been trapped in a comfort zone for a really long time, and if you feel that you are not getting enough new challenges, you are not challenged enough, or you feel that your technical and creative sacrifice is not getting enough stimulus, then people either move to another organization or get a new role in the same organization. So, from my perspective, I treat both of them in the same way.
Got it. Perfect. Now, that's a very mature take on this. Last one, Shubho. Back in 2011, like you were experimenting with neural networks, and when they were still new, alien to most of us, and you were already saying that they would replace traditional models. Fast forward today, 2026. What's a technique or trend that you think people are either underestimating or overestimating?
Well, 2011, I I was more of a rookie back then. I was probably the new kid on the block, and we made some predictions. Some of them, fortunately or luckily, turned out to be true. But this time, I would say that I can't predict the next best thing, but I can comment on what I believe is going to stay on. Because as we have seen in the past, and we expect that, be it the tools or the techniques or the algorithms, they kept evolving over the last few decades, and they will keep evolving. So what will come next, or what we are having, and will not be actually, come to the forefront, and will just pass on. So only time will be able to tell. But what is going to stay on? I think the problem-solving skills, it will remain in demand. If we are solving a problem and giving a solution through data analytics, using any of the tools which we are having in our hand, which leads to, growth and increase in revenue or increase in profit for the organization, or if it reduces cost, or if it enhances experiences of our customers or colleagues, then it will always have great purpose, and it is going to stay. So that is my take. It's more like, like nowadays, like consider ourselves more as a carpenter, that we need to, like deal with complex problems and solve them using the tools that we currently possess. And of course, we always need to upgrade our tools based on what is available or latest in the market. So that upgradation is the must. Otherwise, we will lag behind. But again, like the tools are only the tools for a carpenter, or creating some amazing, furnitures which will solve the problems of the customers.
Love the analogy. And Shubho, right now I can say that you are sorted with what the next 10, 20 years going to be, and what you will keep focus on, and what the others who are in our industry should focus on. The conversation has been exactly what I thought of: intellectually rich, full of insights, and genuinely fun for me, and I'm sure for the audience. Before we wrap up, I want to ask you one final question. If There's someone listening who is early in their analytics career, or maybe they are trying to figure out how to stay relevant and engaged over the long term in this field without burning out or getting bored. What would you want them to know at this point?
I think the best advice that I will give is a continuation of what I was saying last. That is, try to keep learning and try to keep learning every year, every month, and if you can, then every day. So learn about technology, learn about business, learn about soft skills. Just keep yourselves updated and feel free to seek feedback from uh, others that you consider as your mentor or even your mentee or your peer or seniors, even juniors. So just try to be the best version of yourself.
Be the best version of yourself, not the best data scientist, not the best analyst, but as you mentioned, the best version of yourself. I think that's the right frame. Perfect. Thank you so much for your time, Shubhadeep. This was a great conversation. I knew it would be. And congratulations on your first podcast, and congratulations on releasing your third book.
Thank you, Koshik. And yeah, I would thank you for giving me the opportunity to appear in my very first podcast. And it was a delight participating in this podcast. My best wishes to you and to all your listeners.
Thank you so much. And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us on Beyond Resume. Shubhadeep's journey from economics at Delhi School of Economics to pioneering neural networks in 2011, from building analytic solutions across 5 continents to writing satirical data science fiction, from experimenting with techniques no one understood to leading global commercial banking analytics. That's what a rich careers look like. Not just climbing, but exploring. Not just executing, but creating. And apparently having a sense of humor about it all along the way. Next time, we will be diving into another fascinating conversation with a leader who is shaping the future of analytics and AI. Until then, keep learning, keep connecting, and remember, your career is more than what's on your resume.